Let me begin by saying that this video is about the single greatest life hack that I know of. It's about the one thing that if you do, will all but guarantee that you make your life a success. Now, you can't expect something as powerful as that to be easy, and it isn't. If you choose to do it, it'll be the most difficult thing that you've ever done. It'll be the greatest sacrifice that you've ever made. Imagine if reading a book, going to the gym, working on a business, and even studying could be as fun as scrolling through social media, watching Netflix, and playing video games. I am currently a couple of weeks into my first complete dopamine detox, and I'm here to tell you it's possible. It's not going to be easy, not in the least, but it's possible. Let's get the terminologies out of the way straight away. There are 3 terms that you need to understand before we get started. Number 1, dopamine. Dopamine is one of the most misunderstood chemicals in our bodies. It's seen as what makes us lazy, what makes us watch just one more episode when we should be studying, what makes us choose the pizza over the salad. When in fact, dopamine is what is the primary determinant of how motivated we are, how driven we are, and how determined and dedicated we are to pursue external things. To put it simply, you see 2 people. One who's infinitely motivated and driven, who strives towards his goals and makes significant progress every single day. And the other who just can't be asked to get off of his couch, who spends his entire day binging Netflix shows and eating chips and ice cream. What you're looking at here is without question a difference in the levels of dopamine in their system. Number 2, instant gratification activities. These are activities that, biologically speaking, instantly release dopamine in your system and as a result give you instant pleasure. Scrolling through Instagram, watching Netflix, watching YouTube, playing video games are all examples of instant gratification activities. And number 3, delayed gratification activities. These are activities that you don't necessarily enjoy in the moment. These are activities that feel difficult to do at the time, activities that tire you out. Going to the gym, working on a business, meditating, journaling, reading a book are all examples of delayed gratification activities. There's one last concept I need you to understand so that you can understand the logic behind the detox. The concept is that the amount of satisfaction, the amount of pleasure that you get out of doing anything is relative. Let's say you're studying when a friend hits you up to join him at the gym. You'd probably feel excited to go and get a workout done. But if instead you're a couple of hours into binging a new show when you get that same call, you'd more than likely ask him to fuck off. Coming to the logic behind this detox, coming to the main point of this entire video, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. The fact of the matter is, when you're playing video games, when you're watching Netflix, when you're scrolling through social media, your brain is releasing this much dopamine. When you're reading, when you're going to the gym or doing any of the other delayed gratification activities, it is releasing this much dopamine. As long as your brain has the option to choose between the two, I don't think I need to tell you which one it ends up choosing almost every single time. The only option we have then is to cut out these instant gratification activities from our lives completely. That did not sit right with a lot of you. Most of you are already scrolling through your recommended videos looking for the next one to jump onto. Listen, I'm not going to try and convince everyone to stay. What I'm proposing is going to be a lot of work. It's not going to be easy. In fact, it's going to be the most difficult thing you've ever done. It's going to shake up your system and require changing a lot of things in your life. But 99% of people are never going to be able to change. That's the fact of the matter. That's just how it is. 99% of people are going to spend their entire lives enslaved by the technologies created to do just that. 99% of people are never going to build up the self-control, the discipline required to completely turn their lives around. If that sounds like you have my blessing to click off. Alright now, for those of you remaining, hearing me say you need to cut out instant gratification activities from your life completely, even for most of you, your brain probably snapped back with a, I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound fun. What's the point of doing the work if I don't get to enjoy myself later? I don't blame you. Those are exactly the thoughts I had before starting out. That's just the way our brains have been conditioned. We can no longer imagine going a day without watching YouTube videos and Netflix and scrolling through Instagram. When I first heard about this, the first thought I had was, wait, that doesn't sound right. I mean, yes, I do want to get more work done. Yes, I do want to be more healthy. Yes, I do maybe even want to work on my mental health. But I'm not supposed to take a break at the end of it all? After a day of working hours on self improvement, I shouldn't enjoy myself. Enjoyment. Our perception of enjoyment has been so severely distorted by the internet and the social medias of today. It's all become so normal for us that it's difficult for me to even try to explain my perspective to you. I heard this YouTuber describe it really well. Shouts to my man Hamza. See, when you're scrolling through your phone, you're not really feeling excited or happy. You're not even smiling. Most of the time, you just sat there like, at most, every few minutes, you'll just quickly exhale through your nose, like, how is that fun? Okay, look at it this way. If somebody from 100 years ago, or somebody from another planet who hasn't seen the Instagrams and the YouTubes of our world, saw you on your phone enjoying yourself doing this, would they say you're having fun? Later, they see you in the gym with a massive pump, setting PR after PR, listening to music blasting through the speakers, dancing to your favorite songs in between sets. Which do you think they'd say you were having more fun in? I'm not gonna act like what I am saying is completely normal and you're the one who's dumb for not understanding or relating to it. I realize what I'm saying sounds so absurd, so ludicrous to most of you. I understand that most of you probably don't even want to completely get rid of your instant gratifications. You're convinced that you won't have as much fun anymore if you do so. I understand because I've been in your shoes. I understand because I had the exact same thoughts. It took me over a month of gradually reducing the number of hours I indulged to even allow myself to entertain the idea that maybe I could one day completely go without it. I had personally started out on this just as a short-term challenge to myself because I felt bored. I felt bored with Netflix open. I felt bored playing video games. I felt bored watching YouTube videos. I felt bored scrolling through Instagram. Ironically, I stopped feeling bored once I started on this challenge. I have nothing to gain out of telling you to do this. In fact, nobody has anything to gain out of you doing this. A long-term dopamine detox is not trendy, it's not clickbaity, it's not catchy. Maybe that is why nobody is talking about it. Let me now tell you about the benefits of freeing yourself from this addiction. What life is like once you've put in the work and come out the other side. Number one, the most obvious benefit of the substantially increased amount of time on my hands. The 4 to 6 hours I used to initially spend on instant gratification activities are now available to me. They're free for me to put into whatever activity I want to. Number two, the not so obvious benefit of the amount of mental space I'm saving. Because of my meditation practice over the past few months, I was able to see how much of my day would go thinking about that YouTube video I'd watched, or that movie I'd been meaning to watch, or just humming that song that everybody was using on their Instagram reels that week. Once I started on this detox, I firsthand saw my brain clear up. It stopped gravitating towards the movies and shows and songs. And now I'm able to utilize that extra brain space for productive activities. And number three, undoubtedly the greatest benefit I've experienced is that I've started to enjoy my delayed gratification activities much more. Gymming, working, meditating, recording this video even have started to feel so much more fun. After putting in my deep work in the morning and going to the gym, I get excited just thinking about the book that I'm going to read that day. The best way I can describe it is by saying that it feels like I've freed myself from the clutches of instant gratification. In one word, the feeling is of freedom. It's weird because I never saw myself as enslaved by these technologies, as I'm sure you don't. But it was only once I freed myself from it that I was able to clearly see my addiction. I would wake up in the morning thinking that I was going to get so much done, but without me even realizing, Instagram and Netflix and YouTube would steal away my entire day. Even when planning my day out, I would already have subconsciously taken out time for these activities. I used to sleep at around 12ish, but the time after dinner was never even taken into consideration for getting anything done because that time was pre allotted to lying in bed and staring at a screen. I'll end this by saying that this detox is what has single handedly helped me completely turn my life around. If, despite having the world of entertainment in your hands, you feel bored with your life, if any of these benefits that I discussed appeal to you, if you've been wanting to turn your life around but just can't figure out how, give this a shot. You have nothing to lose other than a few seasons of a show that you're not even that interested in. I wish you all the best.